you have to start with the customer. The more that you understand that buyer, the more that you understand that buying group, then you can have your GTM, you can have your strategy, you can have all the different tactics that you're going to be applying. Spend time with the customers, spend time with your sellers. Only then you will be able to put a marketing strategy that really delivers.
Today on the show, I'm happy to have Mariana Cogan. She's a CMO for Hexagon. They're empowering makers to optimize, push boundaries, and create without limits. Now, Mariana, this is quite a large company. So now what are some of those numbers you were telling me about how many cars and smartphones and things you guys actually touch?
Yes, indeed, it's a very large company. Worldwide, we build in about $6 billion in revenue, which really means that we touch 95% of the cars, leverage our technology. 75% of the smartphones use Hexagon technology. Because as you mentioned, we are in the business of ensuring quality, and everything has quality. From the point that you're designing, you're manufacturing, you're operating, you're servicing, everything has to touch quality. So we help to improve people's quality of life.
And how much staff does it take globally to run this organization?
It does take a lot of people, as you can imagine, about 24,000 employees.
So with such a complex product portfolio and you running up marketing, I want to hear how you handle such a complex portfolio.
It is taking me many years to get to the point that it is something that I can handle, but it always goes back to starting with the customer. Yes, you have a variety of products, solutions. Many times we're talking about an individual buyer that is going to buy maybe $2,000, $10,000 product. We sell to a lot of the manufacturers in the US, SMB, you can be talking about maybe $50,000, $100,000. You get into some of our larger devices, $500,000, $1 million. Then you also have very large enterprise deals, and you're getting into the 10 millions and 20 millions and really large numbers. But it all really boils down to understanding that each of them is different. Each of them has a different GTM. But each of them has most probably a different customer. So similar to anything that our marketeer always does, you have to start with the customer. The more that you understand that buyer, the more that you understand that buying group, then you can have your GTM, you can have your strategy, you can have all the different tactics that you're going to be applying. Some of these business are new logos, some of them are renewals, some of them are hardware, some of them are software. But it really boils down to starting with who is your buyer? What value are you delivering to all of them? Because it's very different. It's very different. Let's say we just spoke about Hexagon, where if you're selling to somebody in Hexagon, it is one person that is part of this 24,000 people network. But many times we're selling into companies that are 2 or 3, the owner, a couple of more people, 10 people, 20, 50 people, then 3, then we have a different problem. And the more that you respect and understand what problem are you solving so that you can really partner, then you start being able to run a variety, a complexity of a product portfolio.
So is it pretty much a different strategy for every customer, every product?
For the most part, I would say yes. There are things that are in common, absolutely. And you don't really go just by, in a sense, the product. You're really going many times by the problem you're solving. In very large enterprises, we're going to be selling 100 different products to one company. So it might be that the GTM is not different almost product by product. Sometimes it's really more based on who are you selling into, so that you can be solving not just a silo problem, but across your organization. What is the value that you're bringing as a portfolio? It is a combination of, I would say, more like a matrix, where you have to be selecting how do you combine the person, the buying group, the company, the problem, the value. And with that, you put together a marketing strategy that will help you to deliver your goals.
So you're really digging into the customer pain points before you even propose anything.
Absolutely. No marketeer should be doing anything until you understand your audience and you understand what problem you're looking to solve. And then you understand your channels. Where do they hang out? How do they like getting the information? But if you don't understand your persona, be copy pasting what somebody before you was doing. So I always tell marketeers that again, you can start with maybe some market research, use some audience research, but you should also be joining sales calls with your sellers. You can review call recordings through with inside sales. If you're going to be doing a show, a trade show, an event, you name it, spend time with the customers, spend time with your sellers. Only then you will be able to put a marketing strategy that really delivers.
So when you guys are approaching a new potential customer, are you proposing a very detailed strategy first? And then after that strategy is proposed, now you're bringing in the product and saying, these are the products to apply with this strategy?
So I think that's a kind of marketing to be able to be personalized as it gets. You have a product line because there's plenty of people that share the same property. So it's not exactly that. If I'm going to be selling a product that is $2,000, of course, there's not that consultative sale. You're really much more into performance marketing. So how do you make sure that you identify what is the problem that you're solving for the most people so that you can have a strategy of that nature? If I'm going to be selling to a very large enterprise, again, $10 million, of course, there's going to be much more of that consultation. So it really depends on the buyer. Again, you have a different strategy, where it's more enterprise, more performance.
So on your path to where you are today, I know it wasn't all just an easygoing path. What is your failing to success story?
Now, how is it plenty? I think that according to a point in my career that it looks like everything was perfect. I made all the perfect decisions. Everything was a straight line. And as that's not true. There were many challenges, but one that I would say that maybe was one of the biggest ones. When my son was born, I decided to take a number of years out of the corporate world. And I've had already been a VP of large enterprises, CEO of a startup, and so on. And then when I decided that it was time to come back, as some of your audience might know, I'm born in Mexico, where I grew up in Japan. I went to college there. I'm a Japan expert. I thought that I should get a Japan-related job. So I try and I apply for things, and I was doing business development. You still have to apply, and you don't see things working. And at that point, you start panicking. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to find any job that has to do with Japan. So I applied for this job at MIT to run their Japan program. I thought that I was the perfect candidate. How many more people do you have that grew up in Japan and went to college in Japan and everything? And I had been by then maybe doing, 10 years of business with Japan. And I didn't get it. And it was hard down. I think I cried for about a week. And then I had to do some thinking and realize that I was trying to almost take the easy path by applying for a job that, thank God, I didn't get, because it was to run a program. It would have been a relatively small job. So I was very lucky not getting it, even though I'm telling you, I did cry for about a week. But it allowed me to really go back to the drawing board and think a little bit more about less of me being scared about coming back into the corporate world again, and thinking a little bit more about the market, about the business world and what was happening. And that's when I think all of you have seen those three diagrams: your talent, your passion, and the market. And standing, doing more thinking around those lines. And I'm like, the world is moving more towards marketing being very digital, much more operational, data driven. And back then you didn't have as many marketeers following that path. I'm an economist. I'm really good with numbers. I'm very operational, but I do have a passion for marketing, for building brands, for connecting buyers and their problems and so on. And that's where the market was moving to. I had a uniqueness. So then I took all that towards doing marketing, digital marketing, which was that demand generation marketing. And then the global component became a little bit more like the cherry on the cake, because I speak a few languages and so on. But it was a big failure. Yes, when I didn't get that job.
If any of our listeners wanted to see some of your marketing or learn a little bit more about your story, Mariana, how could they do so?
Absolutely. It's for me. I tend to post as much as I can on what are the things that I've been learning, what are some of the techniques, trying to re-empower. Because I really think that right now it is the obligation or we're in my career to share and help us more just like that. So yes, LinkedIn is the best channel.
And then hexagon.com is the company website, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe. I'm your host, Chad Galecki, and we'll see you next time.